is latent.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
Got it. Let's continue. Yeah,
All this may be learned, no? Okay,
correct.
where? Huh.
All this may
All
be
this, all this may be learned by one or a few in a lifetime. But the majority of the adherents of any religion remain together and experience in groups whatever destiny, their devotion, sincerity, and honesty, or their prejudice, bigotry, and hypocrisy, or their arrogance, fanaticism, and cruelty in their religious belief brings to them. Thus, religions provide group destiny. The group destiny of those who live under a clerical oligarchy is governed by the same law as that which affects the group destiny of those who live under other forms of oligarchical,
Oligarchical.
oligarchical government.
tile governments.
My tongue got all twisted. Okay. Oligarchies of aristocratic landowners, of soldiers, of bureaucrats, of money kings, of political bosses, and of labor leaders all have similar aspects. Sometimes there are hereditary features in these institutions. However, here as well as in the so called hereditary of a physical body, the hereditary feature is merely a means of working out the destiny, which is always a precipitation and concretion of the thoughts of those who are affected by these forms of government.
Section 5 is over.
Section 6.
Yeah.
The government of the world. How the destinies of the individual, the community, or the nation are made by thinking, and how destiny is administered. Concerning the government of this world, the destinies of nations, of communities, and of individual human beings, can there be any doubt that these mysterious problems are determined by law? For if chance is to be considered as a determining factor in bringing about events, they must of necessity be a law of chance. And chance then becomes a law which must fit in with other laws and be related to them, or else the established laws would be jostled around and overthrown. As nature is governed by law, so also mankind and human relations must be governed by law. And law dissipates the thought of chance. Chance is only a word used as an escape from the inability to understand and to explain law.
So he's
Is
trying
there a
to explain the law of the universe, basically.
Basically, what it means is there's no something like chance. When you say something happened by chance, there's nothing. Everything is planned, or it's a cause and effect.
Yeah, it's all part of what is followed according to the law. Is there a government of this world? And if so, what is it? How is it constituted? What is law and how are laws made? Who or what is the authority for the law and for justice in administering the law? By whom are the laws administered? And what is justice? Are the laws just? And if so, how is justice shown to be just? How are the destinies of nations, of communities, and of individuals administered? The answers to these questions is yes, there is a government in the changing world. The government is not in the changing, yes, there is a government of this changing world. The government is not in the changing world. It is in the realm of permanence. And though the realm of permanence pervades this world of change, it cannot be seen by mortal eyes. The government of the world is made up of complete triune selves. They are constituted to be the government by the conscious light, which is truth, endowed to them by the intelligences which are under the supreme intelligence. Law is the prescription for performance made by the thoughts and acts of his maker or makers, and to which those who subscribe are bound. Law is the prescription for performance made by the thoughts and acts of his maker or makers, and to which those who subscribe are bound. The laws for the individual human are made by the thinking of the human during the creation of his thoughts. These thoughts are his laws prescribed by his thinking. Other human beings who subscribe to these thoughts by their own thoughts are bound thereby. When the individual thoughts created bring the human beings together, the human beings are bound by verbal or written contracts. Then or later, the thoughts exteriorize as physical destiny to those concerned. The breaking of these contracts causes disorder and confusion. The authority for law is the self-knowledge of the triune self. Self-knowledge of the triune self is the real and unchanging order of self-conscious being, which includes all laws of nature. The authority for law is the self-knowledge of the triune self. Self-knowledge of the triune self is the real and unchanging order of self-conscious being, which includes all laws of nature. That authority for law is inexhaustible and immeasurable. It is at once available to the knowers and thinkers of all triune selves, in detail and as one related and coordinated whole. The authority for the law is inexhaustible and immeasurable. It is at once available to the knowers and thinkers of all triune selves, in detail and as one related and coordinated whole. Okay. Justice is the action of knowledge in relation. Justice is the action of knowledge in relation to the subject judged, and the judgment determines its administration as prescribed by the law. Justice is just because those who are concerned are the makers of the law for which the human is responsible. The thought and act begin with the human. The human is judged by the knowledge of his own knower. The judgment is administered by the doer's own thinker. This cannot be otherwise than just. I'll just read that part again. Justice determines its administration as prescribed by the law. Justice is just because those who are concerned are the makers of the law for which the human is responsible. The thought and act begin with the human. The human is judged by the knowledge of his own knower. The judgment is administered by the doer's own thinker. This cannot be otherwise than just. The destinies of human relations and of community.
Can you just
Yeah.
Explain this? See, there is an issue over here. See, on the one hand, what is justice? How do you interpret justice? Because the belief, and actually even earlier in the same book we had discussed, that you don't look for justice because there's something happens because of the thinking, right? So now what it tries to say here is slightly different, may appear slightly different. The individual over here, there's called individual, he said the doer, okay, makes a judgment, doer according to the knower of the doer. Whereas the laws per se or the justice are made by the thinker of the triune self of the doer.
The laws are not made by them, right?
Correct. The point is,
here, they are only administrators. They are only the administrators of law. They don't.
Was created by who are the administrators you are talking about?
The people, the triune selves who are occupying the realm of permanence,
right?
They are the administrators.
Of the law determined by
the people.
No.
Because the law of thought is the destiny. Administering it, ensuring the guidance that it has to be balanced. The homeostasis of the universe is sustained, or the equilibrium and balance is sustained in terms of, by virtue of compensation of the power of thought.
Correct. So this the thought is by the individuals over here. That is what is the destiny, right?
And so they create the destiny.
Correct. Now, when they are administered, you remember, we are not always conscious of the thought. That is where the concept of injustice. So you may feel something is unjust, right?
You are awareness.
Because you are not aware of the thought.
But it also, is it not a fact, in the earlier chapters, what we had seen, he says that the organization of the universe is by the is nothing but nature elements, and
Okay.
these elements, when they reach the state of balance, they become the triune cells.
Right. Okay.
These are completely balanced triune cells who have entered the realm of permanence. Once they enter the realm of permanence, they will not be, they are incorruptible.
Agreed.
Okay, now their job is to protect the universe.
Okay.
How do they protect the universe? By ensuring that each one who has issued a thought is balancing the thought that he has issued.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say is, therefore, even though sometimes we feel it is unjust, we say there's nothing like unjust because it is because of a balancing that is required elsewhere.
Exactly.
So,
So
we feel
you are responsible for it, whether you are aware of it or not. In this life, you are responsible, and that is the law. There is only one law in this entire book. It says it is the law of thought.
correct. Which is
And
why
all other laws are subservient to the law of thought. So if it is the law of thought, then there is no other way out.
I totally agree with you. This what I'm trying to emphasize is the same thing. Because in common parlance, we say there's no justice because we don't look for justice. We don't know what justice is.
There is nothing like, see,
there's nothing like justice from our point.
Sustaining the balance of the universe is justice.
Correct.
Right? So that is the way we should interpret this.
Exactly. That's why I wanted you to stop there. Yes.
No, it's a very good point. Yeah. Justice is the action of knowledge in relation to the subject judged. Look at this beautiful sentence. Justice is the action of knowledge, right? Which is, knowledge is nothing but the property of the knower. He has got the I-ness and selfness, right? That is knowledge. That I-ness, the selfness is the knowledge. I-ness is the ego, which needs to get balanced. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the judgment determines its administration as prescribed by the law. Justice is just because those who are concerned are the makers of the law for which the human is responsible. It is they themselves who have made that. Yeah. Ma'am, you can continue. The thought and act being with the...
Yes.
See, he's clarifying that here, sir.
Correct. The thought and act are with him. Yeah.
The thought and act begin with the human. The human is judged by the knowledge of his own knower. The judgment is administered by the doer's own thinker. This cannot.
Knowledge of his known knower is like a conscience. Is that what it means?
Exactly.
When you are conscious.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Yes, sir. The destinies of human relations and of communities and of nations are exteriorized by the human beings themselves, operated by the doers in their bodies, directed by the thinkers as the judges of their doers, by the knowledge of the knowers of the humans, as arranged and ordered by the government of the world, and as determined by the people of the world as their destiny. I'll read once more. The destinies of human relations and of communities and of nations are exteriorized by the human beings themselves, operated by the doers in their bodies, directed by the thinkers as the judges of their doers, by the knowledge of the knowers of the humans, as arranged and ordered by the government of the world, and as determined by the people of the world as their destiny. That's quite a long sentence. The complete
but-
triune selves. Yeah.
No, ma'am, did you follow what he is saying there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's very clear.
Yeah, anyone having any question there? I think everyone has followed.
Yes, it's very straightforward.
The complete triune selves comprise the government, which is established in the realm of permanence. They occupy and operate perfect and immortal physical bodies. Their bodies are organized and composed of balanced nature units. These nature units are unintelligent but conscious. They're not conscious of anything. They're conscious as their functions only. They're conscious of nothing more or less than their functions. Therefore, their functions are laws of nature, always constant. They cannot act or perform any functions other than their own. That is why laws of nature are constant and dependable. Continue. Balanced units, figure 2C.
No, 8 minutes.
No.
So, someone has posted a message saying that they didn't follow the earlier sentence that we wrote. The destinies, just read that again, Priya ma'am.
Yes, sir. The destinies of human relations and of communities and of nations are exteriorized by the human beings themselves, operated by the doers in their bodies, directed by the thinkers as the judges of their doers, by the knowledge of the knowers of the humans, as arranged and ordered by the government of the world, and as determined by the people of the world as their destiny. The complete.
And just to
Wait.
that. Yeah, Jasbir ma'am, you didn't understand. You said what you didn't understand.
No, sir, I did not say that. I said yes. I said no, sir. Oh, I
And that is
meant
why
to
I
type
asked
yes,
her to
sir.
stop. Yeah.
No, sir, your question was, does anybody has a doubt? So I didn't know, sir.
Yeah, then let's continue. The complete training selves.
Ye ho gaya, no? This I finished. We have to do from balanced units. That figure 2C देखना है, or I'll just continue reading.
वो तो वो 30 डिग्री वाला है ना, घूम घूम के 360 डिग्री आता है.
What is the What happened? Oh. 1 second.
2H, 2G, 2C जाना है. हाँ, 2F, no, further, 2C.
ये इसके ऊपर वाला ये पूरा लाइन सिस्टम ही यही है.
Unmanifested aspect. Manifested aspect has the passive side and the active side.
Yeah.
I'll read.
Balanced units are
Balanced units, figure 2C, are trained to function as laws of nature during their service in a perfect, immortal body of a complete triune self, which is serving as one of the government of the world in the realm of permanence. Balanced units are trained to function as laws of nature during their service in a perfect immortal body of a complete triune self, which is serving as one of the garment of the world in the realm of permanence. Each such perfect body is a living university machine. From the admission of the unit into the perfect body and its being a constituent part thereof, until it is qualified to leave the body, the unit successively progresses in its development from each degree to each next higher degree in that university machine. From the admission of the unit into the perfect body and its being a constituent part thereof, until it is qualified to leave the body, the unit successively progresses in its development from each degree to each next higher degree in that university machine. The unit is conscious as its function only in each degree. And in each degree, its function is a law of nature. Continue.
Continue. I
When
think, it's
when the unit has
straightforward, this.
qualified, when the unit has qualified in being conscious successively as each and every function of that immortal body of balance units, it is potentially conscious as every law of nature. When the unit is qualified in being conscious successively as each and every function of that immortal body of balance units, it is potentially conscious of every law of nature. It has finished its course as an unintelligent nature unit and is ready to be advanced beyond nature to become an intelligent triune self unit. When it is advanced beyond nature, it is an AIA and is later raised to the degree of translated into the triune self unit. As a triune self unit, it is to be the successor to the triune self, who was its predecessor in training the nature units in the perfect body in which it has been educated. Thus, all stages are as links in the chain of being progressively conscious in higher degrees. And this chain, made up of units that are conscious in progressively higher degrees, is kept unbroken.
That means he will continue in his particular university till he completes that and then advance.
And it's all the time progressing to a higher level.
Correct.
The triune self is an indivisible unit, an individual trinity of three parts. I-ness and selfness are identity and knowledge, as knower of the triune self. Rightness and reason are law and justice, as thinker of the triune self. Feeling and desire are beauty and power, as doer of the triune self. The knower as the authority of knowledge, and the thinker as justice. Excuse me, just a second. I'll just read that part again. Where was I? The knower as the authority.
The knower.
I'll read from the knower. The knower as the authority of knowledge and the thinker as justice in relation to whatever subject is judged are complete perfect. But the doer, to be an operator of the body, must prove its ability to manage and maintain its perfect body, whose functions are the law of nature. Every unit in that body is a balanced unit. Through the breath form unit of the perfect body, all other units in that body are kept in balance. The doer part of the triune self is to be operator and manager of the perfect body. For this purpose, it has been trained and educated in that university machine. The doer, as feeling and desire, must equalize and balance itself in beauty and power in an inseparably balanced union. Else, the units of the perfect body would become unbalanced, imperfect, and would leave the realm of permanence. Can we just go through this once more? 1 minute. I'm following as I'm reading, but it's not sinking in. 1 second. कहाँ से पढ़ूं, sir? Any suggestions?
For the purpose, for this purpose, it has been
ये
trained.
डिस्कस करते हैं, पढ़ के कोई फायदा नहीं।
नहीं, for the purpose वाला जो 3 लाइन है एक बार पढ़ लेते हैं, इससे थोड़ा सा ऊपर कनेक्ट करता है.
Okay, you're saying to continue a little more and then go back.
For this purpose, it is trained and educated in that university machine. The doer has been educated.
Purpose kahan hai? Ha, okay. For this purpose, it has been trained and educated in that university machine. The doer, as feeling and desire, must equalize and balance itself in beauty and power in an inseparably balanced union. Else, the units of the perfect body would become unbalanced, imperfect, and would leave the realm of permanence.
See, here what is suggested. Let us start with the introduction chapter where he says that the triune self has got three fundamental units. Correct? Each of them has got an active and passive component. Clear to everyone that portion?
That
Now-
diagram you're saying, no, sir?
Correct.
Huh.
Right? Triune self has got three entities. It has got the knower, it has got the thinker, and it has got the doer. Who is having the responsibility to keep all the units balanced?
Doer.
The doer. What are the active and inactive components of the doer?
Feeling and desire.
Feeling and desire. Correct? Now,
Hmm.
as a human body, if you come to the human body, right? What is this doer?
Doer has to
Because
keep the
no,
balance
yeah.
unit.
See, once it is the doer who has to maintain the balance of the triune self, correct?
When it
When
enters the
there
body.
is when there is a imbalance in the immortal physical body, which is occupying the realm of permanence, which is subjected to the desirer from the intelligence, right? What is happening? Tell me what is happening.
The units are getting unbalanced and it will come back to the human body to make it again balanced and then go up.
Correct. That portion, he just took us through that process. Are you with me? That is exactly what he explained. Now, reread with that picture in mind, reread what is written.
Okay.
The triune self is a. You can
The
start.
triune self is an indivisible unit, an individual trinity of three parts. I-ness and selfness are identity and knowledge as knower of the triune self. Rightness and reason are law and justice as thinker of the triune self. Feeling and desire are beauty and power as doer of the triune self. The knower as the authority of knowledge and the thinker as justice in relation to whatever subject is judged are complete, perfect. But the doer, to be an operator of the body, must prove its ability to manage and maintain its perfect body, whose functions are the laws of nature. Every unit in that body is a balanced unit. Through the breath form unit of the perfect body, all other units in that body are kept in balance. Okay. The doer part of the triune self is to be operator and manager of the perfect body. For this purpose, it has been trained and educated in that university machine. The doer, as feeling and desire, must equalize and balance itself in beauty and power in an inseparably balanced unit. Else, the units of the perfect body would become unbalanced, imperfect, and would leave the realm of permanence. Yeah. Continue.
Did you all get it? Anyone having a doubt? All are okay?
Yes, sir.
हाँ ठीक है सर, आगे बढ़ते हैं। उसको
हाँ।
परीक्षा हुआ, परीक्षा में फेल हो गया तो नीचे आ गया, फिर वो लड़ झगड़ के ऊपर जाएगा।
Okay.
Mm. Okay. In the eternal order of progression, the doer does balancing its feeling and desire, and so completes its triune self. Then the triune self complete is constituted as one of the governors of the world in the realm of permanence. The doers, which are at present in human bodies, have failed to unite their feeling and desire in balanced union. In the trial test of the sexes, they unbalance the balance unit, which compose their perfect physical bodies. The composing units were then unbalanced and were active passive man bodies and passive active woman bodies. And the doers in the imperfect man bodies and woman bodies lost the direct and continuous use of the conscious life. They ceased to be conscious of their thinkers and knowers in the realm of permanence. They were conscious only of this human world of birth and death. Can we just discuss this once?
Yes.
The previous line say.
वो नीचे आए ना, नीचे अनबैलेंस होके
आप
जब नीचे आ
unbalanced
गए,
हो गए हो, body corrupt हो गया है. Your body has become a mortal body.
Become a?
Mortal body. It is an
Okay.
immortal perfect
Huh.
body
Huh.
to a
So it's come
mortal
into.
imperfect body.
Okay.
Okay. Now, why did this happen? At all times, the knower and thinker are always in perfect balance. They cannot be corrupted. Now, they are also part of the light, which in other words is the consciousness. Right? Now, this light is actually having 7 bodies that it has to balance. The body of the knower, the body of the thinker, right? Along with their active passive components, the body of the doer, and this perfectly balanced body or impaired. So there are these 7 minds which are going to contribute to the perfect balance. 7 minds, each of them has a mind of its own. The mind related to feeling, the mind related to thinking, the mind, right? Those active passive components, each of them, there are 6, and then this physical body has a mind of its own.
Okay, like that 7th. Okay. I was wondering only 6 I got. Okay. The body itself.
The body itself, right?
Okay.
Because the body is the cage inside which all these guys are housed.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So all have to be in perfect balance. Right? In the form of light, the knower gets activated at the topmost component of our head, which is the pineal gland and the pituitary. The doer is occupying your adrenaline in one of the 4 cavities. You recall that, right? He comes to this, he comes, the breath form will go and settle in there, and from there starts his activity from the birth. And now the duty of balancing all this is the doer in the body. The progression from from the nature matter into the
Yeah.
completely balanced triune self. Each of the parameter is a university, governed and directed by the triune self who has experienced all of this and has managed to pass the test that he is consistently subjected to, which is his what you call fitness certificate to continue in the realm of permanence. Are you with me? Right? Now, for him to balance, right, he has to go through this process that you just read. If you want, you can read it. But the doer, to be an operator of the body, must prove its ability to manage and maintain its perfect body, whose functions are laws of nature. Because law of nature is the desire and feeling, correct? The imbalance in that. Right? Every unit in that body is a balanced unit.
Okay.
Through the breath form, unit of the defect. Breath and form are the other side of the doer in the body. Okay.
Yeah.
And he is dictated by feeling and desire. Of the perfect body, all other units in that body are kept in balance. It is by the keeping the shape of a triangle as a triangle, or a square as a square, or a circle as a circle, that becomes the responsibility of the doer in that physical, in that permanent physical body. Through the breath form, unit of the perfect body, all units in that are kept in balance. The doer part of the triune self is to be the operator and manager of the perfect body. For this purpose, it has been trained and educated in that university machine, which is guiding the operations of the doership. That means he has the know-how of how to sustain the balance. If it is imbalanced, how to bring it back to balance. The doer, as feeling and desire, must equalize and balance itself in beauty and color in an inseparably balanced union. Else, the units of the perfect body would become unbalanced, imperfect, and would leave the realm of permanence. Okay, this I had actually put that decision box and created the template, if you remember. Okay, now in the eternal order of progression, the doer does balance its feeling and desire, and so completes its triune self. See, if two entities, the knower and the thinker, are always balanced, the completion is by the third element, which is the doership. Are you with me?
Can you just repeat that again, the last sentence?
See, there are three entities to the triune self, correct? Three components to the triune self. Two of them are always in balance.
Yes.
Right? So the third guy has the responsibility of sustaining that balance.
Yes.
The moment that imbalance comes in, these two are not going to be associated with it till he is pure enough. Right? Okay. So, right. So, in the eternal order of progression, the doer does balance its feeling and desire, and so completes its triune self. Then, the triune self complete is constituted. That is such a entity which the three elements are completely, or the three components are well in balance. He is the complete triune self. He is
Yes.
constituted as the governor of the world.
One of the
in the
governments.
realm of permanence. So he becomes one of the
Yes.
governors
Yes.
of the university in which he is perfect.
Yes.
Okay, he could be the guy who is going to give you a dream. He is the guy who is going to keep in constant touch, communication with the doer in this physical body based on certain criteria.
Hmm.
That criteria is the awareness of the higher self. Are you with me?
Hmm.
The doers which are present in the human body are those that have failed to unite their feeling and desire in the balanced union.
Hmm.
Right? They have failed
So
to
there's
maintain it.
so they're still in the body form, the
No,
doer
no.
form. Hmm.
They come into the doer form in the physical body, in the human body, to live in the physical earth
Hmm. Hmm.
because of that imbalance.
That is
Yeah.
what the soul plan is. Like the soul
Ah,
comes
That
to get
then,
it
see, the
experience and
form
then go back.
aspect. Form aspect is your soul.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, go with the initial ones which I circulated, even the notes in the mind map structure. You will be able to recall. Okay. So now what is happening? Now what has happened? There are imbalanced units, right?
Hmm.
That means from the balanced unit, they have become imbalanced units. Imbalanced units are again those four. They pass through the sphere, they pass through the worlds, they pass through the states, they pass through the substates, and then they become the AIA. From the AIA, they become the triune self units. They keep balancing till they become completely balanced. The moment that balance happens, these will go and join, and that triune self will again be complete. Till then, his progress also is halted. This is what we had read earlier.
Hmm.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Right. So that is what he is repeating. So in the trial test of success, they unbalance the balanced units which composed of the perfect physical bodies.
Hmm.
The composing units were then unbalanced and were active passive man bodies and passive active female bodies. That means the woman bodies and man bodies, they are active passive. So the dominance is by the active component, the passive. So these components, they become the entities of a human being. That is, they are the units which have got domination by active or passive entity, or passive and active entity. And doers in their imperfect man bodies and woman bodies lost the direct and conscious use of continuous
Continuous.
use of conscious life. That means they started becoming ignorant. They lost the sense of consciousness. They lost the light or touch with the light. So they started living under the influence of their senses. Are you with me?
Hmm.
Because
Yes,
of the imbalance of the feeling and desire, both of them are under the control of the senses on the earth.
And lose touch with the consciousness.
Yes, that is because that in Sanskrit the word vivek,
Yeah.
that is missing here.
No, that's what Maya is covered.
Exactly.
Awareness.
Okay. So they have lost, and that imbalance is equal to the Maya.
Yes.
And they go through all these different stages of becoming the balanced units, becoming breath form, then they become AIA, then they move into the units of the triune self, and then they will progress. Okay.
Sir, what is the AIA explanation? We did not get that.
Sir, AIA is basically a state where you are sustaining your balance of the nature elements and are qualified to progress into triune self maturity. It is
Can
that,
we,
In between state.
yes, it
can
is
we
that in
com-
between, it is a transitory state.
can we compare, say, between two janmas?
No, that is different.
Atma between two janmas?
No, it is not between.
No, sir,
two
this is
janmas.
between nature units and triune self. No?
Exactly. So are you imbalanced or balanced, or are you progressing?
Yeah.
You have come to, that is one of the tests, like you have completed the school and are ready to enter the university. You are waiting. Or when you are in sleep, right? Your soul is waiting at the doorstep to be let into the body. That is when you are
वो
after
पूछ
the
रहे हैं कि
astral
वो human,
travel. All those.
whether it is in human form or it is in any other kingdom form. I think that's what Rama sir is trying to ask, right?
No. He is asking whether it is the waiting period. It is like the LBL, life between lives. No, it is not.
नहीं.
So what is AIA is still somewhere in between within the
Sir,
body.
it is like you are moving from animal kingdom into human kingdom.
Human
You
kingdom.
can take it that to be, yes, because that is when
As an
the doer enters the body.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Priya ma'am has got disconnected. Priya ma'am, you are there?
No, sir, I'm there, sir.
Okay, right. So now, right, and the doers in the perfect, okay, right. So they have lost that. They cease to be conscious of their thinkers and knowers because they have now started living under the influence of their senses.
Yes.
Jagdish sir, anything to add there? But we are not able to hear you.
No, we still can't hear you.
No, we are not able to hear you, sir. Okay, then we'll continue. Right? And they cease to be conscious of thinkers and knowers in the realm of permanence. They were conscious only of this human world of birth and death. Now we can continue. Is that clear to everyone?
Ji, sir.
So your mic probably is not.
No, we can't hear you still.
Okay, then we'll continue, sir.
Maybe your headphone jack is not proper.
Or maybe you have to disconnect and reconnect. Maybe. Okay.
Now
So
talk. Now talk.
Priya ma'am,
Yes, sir.
now you continue this. And
Yeah. And although its thinker and knower are always present with it, the
Can you
doer
hear me
is
now?
not. Yes,
now we
yes.
are-
That's the, no, what happened was my mic had got discharged. So I connected it. I forgot to switch on my speaker. That's it.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
You were saying something?
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead. Continue.
So we started living, yeah. And although its thinker and knower are always present with it, the doer is not conscious of their presence, nor of the realm of permanence, because they have to come out of the survival mode.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, आगे बढ़ो.
Yes, sir. And although its thinker and knower always present with it, the
Yeah,
doer is
someone is
not
asking a
conscious of
question,
the.
I think. One sec, someone was.
Yeah.
No, sir. I just want to say that this is similar to like before coming to the meditation, we were all ignorant. We don't know all this knowledge, and now we are like activating these things, and we
So
are
some of
aware
the
and.
light, some of the light is you have
Hmm.
polished yourself to get some of the light.
Hmm.
Yes, sir.
Now let us go further. Yeah, Priya.
Yes, sir. And although its thinker and knower are always present with it, the doer is not conscious of their presence, nor of the realm of permanence. It is not even conscious of itself as the immortal feeling and desire which it is. The doer in the body does not know who or what it is, although it may mistakenly suppose that it is the body which it inhabits during about 16 of the 24 hours of the day. So he's talking about the
Wakeful hours.
non-sleeping hours. Non-sleeping hours. Huh. The body mind controls the minds of feeling and of desire. The body mind can think only about things of the senses, and so binds feeling and desire to nature through the senses. The body mind can think only about things of the senses, and so binds feeling and desire to nature through the senses. Okay.
See, this is what I was talking about the seven minds. Body mind is the seventh one,
Hmm.
which is completely controlling. He has taken complete control over the senses. He has taken complete control over all your senses.
Hmm.
That is the point that he is stressing.
Yeah, the doer is immortal. It cannot cease to be. It has the right to choose what it will do and will not do, because only by choosing to do and by doing what is right will it become independent and responsible. Its destiny requires it to be eventually conscious of itself and as itself in the body, to be in
That
conscious
means,
relation with its.
what does that mean? This particular sentence, what does it mean?
So it is part of its plan to become conscious and progress.
So, between the nature unit and the triune unit,
Hmm.
and the intelligent unit, that is the difference. See, a nature unit is conscious about with respect to its function only.
Hmm.
It is not aware that it is conscious.
Hmm.
Agree with me?
When it moves into the triune side, it becomes aware of the knower and thinker
correct.
also.
Because now the doer has entered the body and the doer is going to start recognizing. वहां तक पहुंच गया है. It is like your 0 to 7 years, effectively. Okay. There are very few who are conscious that they are existing. That is another way to understand this. Chalo.
Where was I?
Yeah, you can do
Yeah, its destiny requires it to be eventually conscious of itself and as itself in the body. To be in conscious relation with its thinker and knower, and by their guidance to find and travel the way to conscious immortality. That is the situation in which all doers are who are in human bodies in this human world.
Okay, clear?
Hmm.
एक बार और
By-
पढ़ लो यहाँ से. The doer
Okay,
is
sir.
immortal.
The doer is immortal. It cannot cease to be. It has the right to choose what it will do and will not do. Because only by choosing to do and by doing what is right will it become independent and responsible. Its destiny requires it to be eventually conscious of itself and as itself in the body, to be in conscious relation with its thinker and knower, and by their guidance to find and travel the way to conscious immortality. That is the situation in which all doers are who are in human bodies in this human world.
Okay. Who is
By
this
thinking,
doer? Are you able to relate to this word? The doer is immortal. Who is that?
The part of the doer which is inside our body.
And that is okay.
Conscious,
But what is
conscious,
that?
that's
consciousness.
The word is doer. Okay. Let me ask this. On one side, as a unit, you are
Matter.
feeling and desire. On the other side, you are form and breath. What does this form specify? What does it indicate?
Matter.
Passive
Is
part
it
of the
matter?
human.
Is it matter or is it the soul aspect? Recall your introduction chapter. Somewhere in the middle of the diagram was there.
Form is a matter, sir. Breath is a.
Oh,
This.
see, it is the matter which is gaining intelligence, correct? But it is the soul. Form aspect is eventually is the soul. The one that keeps gathering more and more information towards the becoming the light. Are you with me? Right? So it is that part of the soul.
मैंने soul बोला था.
मैंने आपको किसी को मैं गाली नहीं दिया, थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन किया बस. चलो आगे बढ़.
Yeah. Yeah. By thinking, the doer in every human creates thoughts. These thoughts are its own prescriptions, its own laws, to which and by which the human, as the maker of the laws, is bound. Then, at the right time, condition, and place, and with the authority of the knower, the thinker causes its doer in the human to bring about, by act or object or event, what its thoughts have prescribed for performance. That is its destiny. I'll read this whole thing once more. By thinking, the doer in every human creates thoughts. These thoughts are its own prescriptions, its own laws, to which and by which the human, as the maker of the laws, is bound. Then, at the right time, condition, and place, and with the authority of the knower, the thinker causes its doer in the human to bring about, by act or object or event, what its thoughts have prescribed for performance. That is its destiny. Therefore, all that does happen to the human for good or ill is of his own thinking and doing, and for which he must be responsible. This applies to the individual of every human being. The happenings cannot be otherwise than just.
So
In the
now you
destiny of
understand why this is the justice. That is how he is creating the whole thing.
Because
Right?
he's brought it about with his own thinking.
Correct.
Or doing.
And it is also cleared by the knower and the thinker, who are responsible for the doer to deliver its purpose. They are the enablers, the knowledge and the thought process. which is nothing but who is the thinker? Thinker is the custodian of two, the active and the passive. What are they?
Reason and righteous.
Yes. Righteousness is the law of justice. Right? So that is the role that is played. So all actions which are coming from the doer as thoughts, right? They get acted upon by knowledge supporting it, the ego supporting it, which are supposed to be in balance, but reflected through the doer. And then it has got the reason and righteousness which are going to define the activity. Right? So that is how the whole thing becomes an act. And one cannot blame others. They have to blame themselves for whatever is happening. Clear? So let's go further.
Yeah.
Now, all
Sir,
of
10:30 हो गया, रुके क्या?
We'll wait till the
10:30 हो
section.
गया.
ये पैरा खत्म करके रोक देते.
We'll
ठीक है,
finish the
okay.
section. We'll finish the section.
ठीक.
Yeah, we'll finish this section. Yeah, ये ज्यादा नहीं है ये सेक्शन का, कितना है? ठीक है, ये पेज तक तो पूरा कर लें, ये सेक्शन जो है यहाँ तक पूरा कर लेते हैं.
Yeah, that para at least will finish.
हाँ.
In the destiny of individuals and of social intercourse, thinking establishes human relations. How then is justice as destiny in human affairs administered? Individual human beings do not know the law. They may or may not agree about acts or objects or events. But the thinkers and knowers of all the individual doers in human bodies have real knowledge. They do know what the human thoughts are as laws. The thinker and knower of each doer knows what is justice for its doers. And all the thinkers and knowers concerned agree to what happens to humans in relation to other humans, as individuals and as communities. In this way, the thinkers and knowers of the individual doers in human bodies bring about the destiny of human relations in communities.
I think it's very
Read
clear.
out.
Very
No.
clear.
Very
ठीक है. That's what we do, group meditations.
How long is this para?
कुछ तो change लाएंगे ना.
सेक्शन पूरा
There's
करने
quite a
के लिए
bit.
और 2-3 पेज.
There's quite a bit more.
So we will stop here.
Yeah.
Well,
The government of this world is where we are stopping.
ठीक है, this is where we need to start. ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir.
Because tomorrow is a working day for most people. सर आपका 10:30 का टारगेट में पूरा हो गया.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, when is your surgery?
Tuesday morning. It was supposed tomorrow, but we got it done to Tuesday morning, early morning.
Sir, recording बंद कर दे.
Yeah, please.